If you're serious about training, you've probably heard this advice 1,000 times to go ahead and train hard, get 8 hours of sleep, and get enough protein, which is still good advice. But over the past few years of training myself, I've picked up on a few weird autistic habits that people who are advanced in bodybuilding and people who have great physiques actually do, which gives them that small little edge. And these habits are strange, which can range anywhere from what to eat right after you wake up, what to eat right before you go to sleep, and what to actually do outside of the gym post-workout that actually improves your recovery more than you can actually imagine. I'm going to be sharing these exact habits, these exact tips in this video. The first habit is getting morning protein. And if you're anything like me, you're a guy who is also on self-improvement, who has a distinct morning routine, which you do right after you wake up. So personally, I wake up at 5 a.m. almost every single day, and I wake up, I make my bed, I take a cold shower, I go ahead and brush my teeth, drink some water, pray, do a form of meditation, and then I go ahead and proceed to do 1 hour of deep work. And throughout this morning routine, I don't actually eat anything. I'm in a fasted state, and when I'm sleeping, I'm also in a fasted state. So relatively, I'm not getting a single gram of food in, a single gram of protein in for about 10, 11, maybe even 12 hours, right? And in this sense, my body is in a catabolic state. Basically, there is no protein synthesis happening in my body, right? And in order to actually maximize your gains, it's best to actually maximize the protein synthesis window. This is why you actually see bodybuilders get 6-8 meals per day. And they do this not to just go ahead and get more calories in, but to actually maximize the protein synthesis window by eating every 2 to 3 hours. And if you are somebody who likes to also have a morning routine to actually do deep work in the morning, which is great, it would be best to actually get some morning protein in. And you might be thinking, wait, that's such a big inconvenience to actually cook up a big breakfast, get in like 10 eggs in the morning to actually get decent amount of protein in. But what you can do is just simply make a protein shake. And what I've started doing is actually when I get my morning water, I actually just make a little protein shake with just water and being unflavored whey protein powder. So as I'm drinking my water, I just add in 1 scoop of unflavored whey protein powder, and I go ahead and shake it up. It takes like a few seconds. I shake it up and I drink it. And when I drink this and I proceed to go ahead and do my work in the morning, I proceed to do my other morning habits, I don't actually feel any sort of food, any sort of hard digestion going on in my stomach, because if you were to actually eat a real solid meal, it would actually take time to digest. It might actually mess up your deep work in the morning. So by just simply making a quick protein shake, it's going to be way easier to not only get your protein in, to actually get your protein goals for the day, but it's also going to be quick and fast digesting protein right in the morning to start protein synthesis as early as you can. So basically, from now on, if you are somebody who likes to go ahead and not eat right away once you wake up, it would be best to actually get some protein in. It can be simply by just making a protein shake with whey protein. The second habit is getting pre-bed protein. And I just talked about getting protein in right when you wake up, but what about getting protein right before you go to sleep? And yes, you can also just take a whey protein shake, but in order to actually maximize the protein synthesis when you sleep, it's best to get this type of protein in, and that is going to be casein protein. And if you're anything like me, when I first started going into fitness and I was thinking, okay, what is the best protein powder? Everyone says just go ahead and get whey protein. And I didn't know exactly what is casein protein. And casein protein, unlike whey protein, which actually we go ahead and make a little protein shake in the morning, it's actually fast digesting and it goes right into the bloodstream in like 30-40 minutes time. And casein protein, on the other hand, is actually slow releasing protein. And this protein goes ahead and digests a little bit slower. And you don't have to actually go ahead and buy another type of protein powder. What I like to do is I actually like to eat some cottage cheese with Greek yogurt or possibly even some kefir as well. because these foods are naturally high in casein protein, especially cottage cheese, and you don't have to eat it right before you go to bed. But I like to actually eat it about 1 to 2 hours before I go to bed, and this protein is going to be slow releasing, is going to be staying in my body as I am resting in bed, sleeping. So basically, just go ahead and buy some cottage cheese. You can buy some Greek yogurt, this is also fine, which is going to be great to actually maximize your gains even further when you go to sleep. And the third habit is going to be taking naps. And everyone knows the importance of actually getting more sleep by sleeping at least 7 hours per night. But nobody actually talks about taking naps throughout the day, especially after your workout, because when you actually work out, you naturally have some higher cortisol levels, right? Which isn't inherently a bad thing. It actually triggers the protein synthesis and it triggers your body to actually build more muscle and to get stronger, right? But your actual central nervous system is a little bit elevated. And by taking a nap after the gym, once you get back home, you can actually go to bed, or just simply by closing your eyes for 10 to 20 minutes, this actually helps to lower cortisol and it actually regulates your nervous system, which actually kind of makes you recover quicker after the gym. And you don't have to necessarily take a nap every single time once you go ahead and go work out, but taking a few minutes to actually regulate your nervous system, to actually calm yourself down, is actually really good for your mental health, and it's going to be great as well for your overall fitness and health. So if you're somebody who likes to work out early in the morning, early in the afternoon, then it's great to actually take a nap after the gym because it regulates your nervous system and it's going to be great for your upcoming gains. And before ending off this video, I wish to share one last bonus tip, which I wish I could share to my younger self a few months ago, a few years ago, and that is, don't make the gym your entire identity, and actually make more goals outside of the gym. Because if you're watching a video like this, you're probably obsessed about the gym. You're obsessed about getting an aesthetic physique as fast as you can. And by actually focusing on other areas of life, you're actually gonna make more progress in the gym. Because if you are obsessed about the gym, all you think about is going to the gym, then you're probably overanalyzing your physique, you're overanalyzing your workouts, and you're probably changing up your routine, changing up your split every single week, every few days, and that actually isn't gonna boost your gains at all. And usually the people who just have other areas of life which they're focusing on, they have other goals which they set out for themselves, and they have other activities to do outside of the gym, they usually make more progress in the gym than the guy who's constantly just obsessed about the gym, who honestly becomes like this weird gym cell who only thinks about going to the gym. And by focusing on other areas of life, you're actually going to be preventing the overthinking which you might have when you just purely obsess about the gym. And I would recommend actually setting some other goals outside of the gym. It can be learning a different skill, learning a different hobby. Like, these things actually help you to stay more patient when it comes to building muscle, because you can follow every single workout advice ever, but building muscle is still a slow and continuous process which happens, and nobody just builds magically muscle overnight, unless you are on steroids, of course. And if you're watching this video, I'm assuming you aren't, right? And actually building the dream physique which you aspire to achieve is actually gonna go ahead and take some time. But if you do need help starting your fitness journey and you're new to the gym and you want to actually understand how to build the aesthetic physique which you always wanted, then I'm actually doing free one-on-one coaching calls for a limited time. For the first 15 people who actually sign up are gonna actually get free coaching from me directly. And if you have any sort of questions, then you can actually ask me on there. And if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe and check out some of these videos which I have right up here.